Yes, sir. What's poppin'? It's your boy, the boy Henry Heck, back at it again with another video. And today it's gonna be a tough one. At this point, we've all seen the news that Concord will be shutting down on September 6th. Refunds will be issued, the game will be delisted, and they're going to go do whatever it is they're going to go do, and that's going to be the end of it, as far as we know. Um, Personally, I don't think the game will come back. I don't think free to play is going to change anything. I don't think that Sony PlayStation will see the value of investing more monies into funding further development and changes inside of the game. Um, the gamers have spoken, and majority of the gamers, whether they played it or not, whether they bought it or not, have shown with their wallets that this was not a game nor IP they were willing to invest in or, take the time to see grow. So in the end, it's just over. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed, to be honest. I'm super disappointed. Though it wasn't a perfect game, and there were things I would have liked to see change here and there. There were things that I think they could have implemented to make the game better, more fun. At the in the crust of the game was solid. Gameplay solid, movement solid, mechanics solid, shooting solid, visuals and performance solid. It had everything it needed to be in order to be successful. The gamers themselves just weren't willing, like I said, to invest and take the time to actually pick the game up, play it, put some time into it, get good, and form. Because in my mind, this could have been an amazing franchise, an amazing IP, especially inside of the rivalry mode. The things you could leverage inside of that mode. It just made for a ton of fun, and I understand a lot of people didn't get to do that because of matchmaking, and if you weren't in the full stack, then it was pretty much hopeless. I had the amazing opportunity to meet a group of individuals, and we were able to full stack almost every night, and we got to play for hours a night. A couple hours, a few hours. It was a couple of nights I was on this joint till like 1 in the morning, and I'm not that kind of individual. If I'm not working, I don't sleep at night at 10:30 at the latest. I'm knocked out. So for a game to keep me up and engaged past that time period is something to be said. I am, we see a lot where multiplayer game was one of they say battle pass is a ruining game, and they say they don't like the microtransactions, and yet we get a game that doesn't have either of those, and they don't support it. You know what I mean? We see um, PlayStation gamers who are, applauding the failure of the game, which I think is kind of weird. You know, be it because they didn't want Sony PlayStation to invest in multiplayer gaming, or they wanted Sony PlayStation to invest in a select few multiplayer games that they felt should come back. And, when I look at it, it's like Concord's failure is not going to yield you these games. It's not. Concord failing is not going to give you a kill zone. It's not going to give you a resistance. It's not going to give you a Warhawk. That's not how they're going to look at it. They're going to look at it as holistically, our gamers do not want multiplayer games. And then we are going to go back to waiting on these AAA studios to produce one game a generation. That's what's going to happen, aside from Insomniac. Naughty Dog is going to show up once a gen, once every 8 years. Santa Monica is going to show up once every 8 years. And that's going to be what it is. And I'm not an individual who wants Sony PlayStation to be a one-trick pony. Only produce third-person narrative-driven games, because they have a quality that can be lended into other genres. When even with this game, this is a multiplayer game, and the Sony PlayStation quality is there. In the sea of games that are utilizing the Unreal 5 engine, most of them are failing. Most of them are falling flat on their faces. Even with the success of Wukong, the performance speaks for itself. You can go here, there, everywhere, depending upon the outlet. It's that. Not saying that it's bad, not saying it's great, but at best, it's inconsistent. That's not the case with this game, and that's not the case when you're able to focus on, at the very least, two platforms. Um, there's a lot of reasons why people are saying that this game failed. Pronouns. Meanwhile, these same people are playing other games that have pronouns. They say, oh, or messaging and social this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, these same individuals are playing games that have those same things. Oh, Sweet Baby. Meanwhile, these same individuals are playing other games that Sweet Baby had worked on. Oh, well, it should have been free to play. Meanwhile, there are other free to play multiplayer games that they're not playing. So this being free to play would not help the case. These same individuals, oh, it should have oats. Other games that have the oats and are free to play, they're not playing. So that being the case is not making sense to me. The genre is oversaturated. What genre is oversaturated? If you mean the hero shooter genre, I don't think you can make that claim because those same people are twerking for Marvel Rivals. Those same people are packing in to play Deadlock, or is it Deathlock? Whichever the hero based MOBA that Valve is producing right now, they can't wait to get their hands on that. It's a lot of inconsistencies. There's a lot of hypocrisy. There's a lot of individual. Well, if it had this, then I would have played. If it had, that's nonsense. Because if it didn't, you would have found. If it did have those things, you just look for another reason not to play. If it had a campaign, then you would have been looking for a reason. Well, it should still be free to play. Oh, it still got pronouns. So either way, it would have been an individual looking for other reasons not to play it, which is fine. Which is fine. But let's be honest instead of like trying to present as if we are upset that the game failed. We are upset that now the studio is at risk because we don't care. We don't care. If the game had everything we wanted to have, we still wouldn't have played it. We still wouldn't have bought it. We still wouldn't have supported the developer. We wouldn't have. Because other games have those same things and you're not supporting those ones. So why should we expect and believe that if this game had it, you would? And I'm not going to sit up here and put 100% of the blame on the game. I'm not. The developer made certain decisions. And in those decisions, they got to sit on it. You make your bed, you got to lie in. That's why I say, even though I'm sad, even though I'm disappointed, I understand. Because when you make a game, you have to look at who the target audience is. And now maybe they looked at how the audience was accepting of certain other games having certain other things because they still play those games, even though the developers of those games made certain things known after the fact, after people were hooked, after people were knee deep in whichever character they were playing. If you spent a year and a half getting good with a certain character, when certain information come out about that character, you're not gonna switch. You're not gonna switch. Also, I was one of the first individuals to sit up here and create a video saying how the character design is less than stellar. I'm playing a hero shooter, and when people play hero shooters, a lot of the time they're gonna go for whatever hero looks the coolest. And this game does not have very many. And yes, you may start using a character because they look cooler, but then eventually end up using a different character because their abilities and gameplay aligns more so with what your natural gameplay aligns with, you know. But that only comes after the fact. That only comes after you've been playing. That only comes after you've been hooked. You know, and I'm not an individual who cheers and applause when the game fails, or cheers and applause when the studio is at risk. Because when I look at when the game is presented to me and I look at it, and then it ultimately comes out, is it what they told me it would be? 9 times out of 10, it is. It's a different story if they present a game one way and it comes out broken, glitchy, multiple issues day one. That's not what this game was. They didn't present this game to me as a story driven campaign. They didn't present that to me. They told me this would be a multiplayer game, PvP, and that's what I got. That's what you got for your 40. That's what you got for your 60. You were not misled. And I'm not gonna sit up here and place no blame, this, that, and the third. You know, shit come out, shit fail sometimes. Sometimes it's just how I go. It is what it is. Sometimes shit just flop. And I believe that, PlayStation seen this game and judged it from a quality perspective. Quality perspective. Because from that perspective, you don't get no much better than this at a quality perspective. There's not even much balancing issues. Usually a game come out, we folk got nerf this, buff that, and it's a travesty. It becomes a snowball effect. It's a mess. It's a mess. Oh, now this failed. They can get back to what they've known for, what they used to. And they could do that. They could very well do that. And I could go to other third party studios and enjoy those games, which I'm gonna have to do. I ain't got no choice. I ain't got no choice. Space Marine 2 coming out, and I'm gonna enjoy the PvP inside of that. I'm gonna enjoy the quality inside of that. But I'm not gonna sit up here and act like if I get some hitches, if I get some disconnections, if the gameplay ain't smooth, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I'm not gonna sit up here and think like, man, Concord delivered on these aspects, and this game right here is fumbling on. And that's a big if, because that may not happen. But just speaking to if it happens. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna fault the single player gamers for applauding and being glad this failed, and now we can get back to single player, and now we can get back to waiting 8 years for one studio to show up, and then in between that time we twiddling our thumbs, wondering why PlayStation ain't speaking up, wondering why we don't have a roadmap, wondering why they silent, wondering why they not speaking to the gamers. I wouldn't speak to y'all neither. Because the first opportunity y'all get to shit on something that y'all saying, y'all gonna do it. You get what you get and you don't pitch a fit. We gonna market these games 6 months out, and if you don't like them, oh well, we shutting studios down, we shutting games down, we sending people home, we sending them packing. Wondering why. Yeah, I might sound a little jaded. I might, cause I'm annoyed, man. I'm real annoyed. I enjoy playing this game. I popped into this game daily. At this point, I'm like 53 hours in. This is one of the only games I actually picked up, like, and looked at it and played it, and I'm like, bro, I'm getting the platinum in this. I would never be able to do that. I would never be able to do that. And I'm not one of these individuals that go scrolling through the PSN looking for easy plats to get. I'm getting easy plats. I'm finna bounce the avocado, whatever. I'm not finna go play a 4 or 5 hour game so I can get the plat. I don't care. That's meaningless to me. That's meaningless to me. Just so I can have a high count and you can look up and see 400, 300, 400. I don't care. I don't care. Because I'm a multiplayer PvP game. You can scroll through and look. I put hundreds of hours into these games. And yes, I could divide that time and put them into other single player experiences and have a ton of platinums, have a ton of trophies, this, that, and the third. But I'm not going to do that because I don't care. I don't care. I go buy a $70 game, play it for a week and a half, 2 weeks, bust that joint down. Once I'm finished, I'm finished. I'm on to the next. Because that's not fun. And I play these games because they are fun for hundreds of hours. I'm enjoying myself for hundreds of hours. I'm kicking it with the homies for hundreds of hours. We laughing, we joking, we playing, we popping brews, this, that, and the third, cracking jokes, creating strategies, shitting on folks. And if that ain't your bag, that ain't your bag. You know, I hope the people at this studio land on their feet. Yeah, because these developers clearly are talented. You know, they just did certain things that the gamer wasn't willing to accept, and this is just where we at right now. This is just where we at. Sucks again. You know, like I said, I've been playing this daily since it came out. I've actually not missed a day since it came out playing it from the early access. Henceforth, I was looking forward to maxing out the characters, getting all the trophies, getting the platinums, and you know, people who weren't gonna pick it up weren't gonna pick it up. I don't care what they had in the game, they still weren't gonna pick it up. Especially if you're not a multiplayer gamer. If you play, you know, exclusively single player games, it wasn't nothing they could do to get you to pick this game up. You know, a lot of people are trying to put on all of a sudden now that the game is shutting down and the studios they're trying to act as if, oh well, if it had this, if it had stop. No, you don't got to do. And that's another thing too I dislike inside of the game. Why do that? You know full well you were not finna pick it up. You know full well you was not looking for it. Well, if it didn't have pronouns, I would have. No, you wouldn't have. Well, if it had a campaign, no, you wouldn't have. Oh, well, I was watching the cinematics, and then once I heard it was a PvP shooter, I was. No, you wouldn't have picked it up either way. And that's fine. Um, I got quite a few gameplays, character highlights. I'm still gonna publish them. I'm gonna put them out. I'm gonna chop them on up. Go ahead, get them out. Produce them on the YouTube, and you know have them there. You know, because for me right now as a game, this was a moment in time I really enjoyed myself, and uh, it's a similar situation to Road Company. They didn't shut down Road Company, but they didn't support. They're not supporting it now, so they may as well have shut it down. You know what Um, I mean, and you know, a lot of people get the opportunity to take a victory lap. You know, a lot of people getting the opportunity for a quote unquote vindication or what have you, you know, and that's fine. You know, because at the end of the day, make no difference how I feel personally. They were right. You know, they were right, even though, they don't play these type of games, and a lot of them don't game in general. But so it is what it is, you know what I mean? Uh, I'm tight, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. I'm tight. I'm tight, bro, because we sit up here all day, every year, pissing on about having a quality multiplayer game. Everybody complain every year after year about Call of Duty. Year after year. Then we get another PvP game of quality and don't support it. I honestly ain't been this annoyed since like Titanfall 2. Another quality PvP shooter. We will never get another one again. We will never get another one again. And it's like how a PvP gamer is looked at. It's like, you got Call of Duty, there you go, shut up. You got CS:GO, there you go, shut up. You got Overwatch, there you go, shut up. Yeah, I ain't gonna keep y'all no longer. I want to drag this on out. Just wanted to, produce a little video because of in light of the news, in light of the situation, y'all. As you see, one of the homies, one of the guys from the group invited me to hop into a game. So I'm probably going, because I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was. It put me in the mood. I didn't even feel like gaming today. to be honest. I didn't even feel like gaming today. But I'm gonna hop in with the bros, bust down a couple more games. I'm sure a lot of them got a lot to say. One of them is reaching out to see if they can get a little more information. As pointless as that may be, because at this point it is what it is. No matter how the decision came about, no matter how it's done. You feel what I'm saying? Like they refunding everybody, shutting it down. It's delisted. It's like the why. At this point, the why don't matter. You know what I mean? It's like some people, when a significant other break up with them, right? They ask them why. I was never asking why type of individual. You feel what I'm saying? Because the why don't matter. Because the result is it's over. And at this point in time, as much fun as I had over these 54 hours, 53 hours, it's over. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I got for right now. I will catch y'all in the next one. I'm